Hi everyone, it's Angie. Long time no see. I mean, like, you haven't physically seen me in a really long time, and I'm looking rough today, but I got the itch to get this video going, or a couple videos going today, so I'm just gonna go for it. I know you don't judge me, and if you do, nah, what are you gonna do, right? So I apologize in advance if we get a little jittery because my tripod is actually, it has like a flat base, like a heavy flat base, and then it has a bar that like arcs over. And for some reason, Junebug is fascinated with the base of it right now. And so she keeps kind of stepping on it and it goes wobbly a little bit. So just apologies in advance. But see, there it just, Junebug, get out of there, stop. Buckle up, Buttercup, because I haven't been with you to discuss yarny things in so long that I've got so much stuff to share with you and show you. So it should be really, really fun. At the end of this video, after we talk about yarn and crochet, I am just going to show you guys a brief update on what I've been working on as far as cross stitch goes. So if you're not interested in that part of it, feel free to turn me off, whenever. But we'll do the yarn stuff first, yarn and crochet first. And another apology, we have like a few doors down from us, which is quite a ways, but they train performance horses, and there must be a competition or something going on this weekend because there have been horse trailers going back and forth like crazy all day. So, and they're loud and weird. Our house sits fairly close to the road, even though we have a lot of property in back. The house sits really close to the road. So if you hear that rumbling, that's what it is. All right, let's get started with yarn. We'll do yarn new acquisitions, and I'll show you what projects I'm working on. Tell you, a little bit about projects that I've finished because it's been such a long time since I've done a yarn video that I have done many, many projects, probably more than I can even think of off the top of my head, really. In fact, when I was gathering things up, I mean, there's yarn that I've purchased, made into something, and gifted away before anyone even got a chance to see it. My apologies, but it was a weird winter, so we're getting back on track now, though. Okay, so let's start first. I want to talk to you a little bit about Darn Good Yarn. I know that I have complained a little bit about it before. I do have a Darn Good Yarn subscription. Junebug, get out of there. I'm so sorry. A Darn Good Yarn subscription, and I opted to get the 3 skeins per month. And for a while, I really didn't care for it. The yarn had a very, very distinct perfumey odor that was overwhelming, and it just, I just didn't care for what the yarn that I was getting. But they have improved. Starting, I believe in January they started it. They now come in boxes rather than these. I have some old ones here that I just haven't opened yet, so I thought we could open them together. They come in boxes instead of these plastic things. I don't have any of the boxes here to show you, but and then they also now are coming with a pamphlet that has both it tells you about the yarn, and it has both a knit and a crochet pattern for an item that can be created using only the yarn that comes in your subscription, so you don't need any additional yarn to go with it, which is nice. And then there's also a coupon in the back, and you can get an, I'm gonna hide the scanny part because that's just for subscribers. But there's a code that you can use to get an extra free pattern from their website for being a member of the subscription club. So, not bad. So I'm going to show you a couple of the yarns that I have gotten. I don't remember what months they were or anything like that. All of their yarns I've noticed, all of them that I've received so far are all recycled silk. So, and most of them have been sport weight, but they don't smell anymore. And I'm starting to kind of like them, and I'm starting to see where I'm going to be able to do some things with them. So this is one of them. It's called Hot Air Balloon. It's kind of pretty. I really kind of like this, this variegated, well, it's not variegated. What do they call this? There's a name for it when they do this color twist thing, and I can't think of it off the top of my head, of course. So that came 1 month, Hot Air Balloon, and that is a sport weight silk. And then this one, I'm not sure what yarn, is called Gumdrop. So another similar type, and it's also a sport weight silk. You know, but it's the same kind of, where they put the colors together in the twist. And so I like these. I actually like these, and they don't smell, so that's good. I'm gonna open this one, and I'm not sure what month this is from. So we'll just see, because I just started, I wasn't into it, so I just started kind of throwing them in the craft room and not opening them. Okay, so this was from October. Oh, this one's kind of nice too. Modern Harvest, also a sport weight silk. So, you know, you could do something fun. You could make like a really neat, kind of one of those scrappy looking scarves, you know, where they jumble all kinds of colors that don't really go together, but when you put them together, they actually look cool. So you could, I think that's what I'm gonna do once I get enough. I'm gonna make like a big, like wrappy type scarf, maybe like a capelet or something. So I'm just holding on to those until I get enough and find a pattern that, you know, I think I'll like. So my darn good yarn, my opinion has improved over time. Let's go to progress. Well, no, I don't want to show you progress on projects. I want to show you purchases first. So most of my purchases that I'm going to show you were made when Mindy and I went to the Fiber Festival in Ann Arbor, Michigan, just last month. Was that in March or April? I can't remember. March or April we went, and I got a lot of stuff. So they had some beautiful, beautiful hand dyers there, and I got some amazing deals as well. So this yarn came from a hand dyer called This Craft or That. And they were generous enough to also donate a sponsorship prize for our Mingle in the Mitten retreat that we had the beginning of May this year. So I got this for mine and Mindy's crochet along that we do weekly on Fridays at 2. We do a live stream crochet along, and we do, you know, various projects. So we're doing like a chevron Tunisian scarf. And this is where I am right now. I'm not, you know, making too much progress. But what I did is I got this one, and these are all DK weight, 85 superwash merino, 15% nylon. This one is tweed. It's, you know, like a rose colored tweed. And then to go with it, I got this mini hank set. So it had, how many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Is that all 5? I thought there were 6 in there. Well, maybe just 5. And these were the colors in this mini hank set. It's called Splash of Fall mix or mini set. So what I'm going to do in the scarf is I'm going to alternate rows kind of haphazardly and make it look kind of, you know, like it was thrown together with scraps in a way. And that's the look I'm going for anyway. If we'll achieve it, you know, who knows? But everybody who knows me knows that I'm not the greatest with color and trying to, like, I really like that look that's popular right now, like I was talking about earlier, of taking colors that don't match, but throwing them all together and they turn out looking super cool. Mickey Jo, who is Jenny the Uncrafty Crafter's sister, was at the Mingle in the Mitten retreat earlier this month, and she also crochets, and she was wearing a granny square sweater that she had made. And it was exactly like the perfect setup of matched colors that I want to achieve. But I think I like try too hard to not match, and then it just ends up looking terrible. I don't know. I don't know what I do. I need a lesson. I need a color lesson. I need a color lesson. So that is a project that, you know, I'm currently working on. Now, Mindy's on vacation for a couple of weeks, so I've got time to get caught up and get back on track with that. Another purchase that I made was from the hand dyer that I've seen many times at these fiber festivals, and they're called Frogget yarns. This is their little label. This is a wool cotton 50-50, so 50% superwash merino, 50% cotton, 100 grams, 436 yards, fingering weight yarn. And the color of this one is hazelnut. And I just absolutely love that. That's just so my colors. And then I also got, so I got two of these, two of the hazelnut, and one of this one that is called Grand Canyon. All right, so you can see that there is a little bit of that hazelnut color interspersed in with that Grand Canyon. That's kind of peachy, kind of peach and cream, and maybe a little bit of rosy colored in there. And I am making a top with this, a summer top. Now you would think wool you wouldn't really want for a summer top, but being that it's 50-50 wool and cotton, I don't think I'm going to have a problem with it. And that it's fingering weight, and it's an airyish pattern that I have chosen to do. So the pattern that I've chosen, and I do have a little bit of a sample, is it is a Tunisian. This will be my first Tunisian wearable that I've made. Well, I did start another one, but it's going to be a long time before that one gets finished because it's a very, very big project and the yarn is very expensive. So I'm going to have to do it in stages. But this is called Tessellate, or Tessellate Me, I believe. Tessellate, Tessellate, and it is a pattern from Ravelry. I can't tell you the designer's name, I apologize for that, but what you do is you work these entrelac Tunisian squares and join them together, and you do kind of a join as you go with these strips, and when it's completed, it's like you've got, it's like a blocks of diamonds on your garment is what this stitch ends up looking like, and it's very, very cool. So my plan is I am going to do the color change in such a way that, like, on one side I have the Grand Canyon kind of interspersed diamonds, like going down the front of one side, if that makes any sense. That's the plan. Now, again, it's a totally new technique for me. So, this is as far as I've gotten. And this took me quite a while. I actually took this out and redid it quite a few times before I got my tension the way that I wanted it, because this was, rather pricey yarn, and I really love the pattern, and I want it to be something that's definitely going to fit comfortably and that I'm going to enjoy wearing. I did do something that I rarely do, and I did do gauge swatches on this. So it did take me a couple of tries to reach gauge with this, but I have achieved gauge, and this is where I'm at. I haven't worked on it since, I only worked on it for a couple of days before the retreat. I haven't touched it since. I need to, but I got involved in other things. So for the retreat, something that you guys didn't see, I made a blanket. it was a Hooked on Sunshine pattern. It was the, it wasn't Phoenix, it wasn't Four, it wasn't Ardith. Which one was it? Gosh, I can't think of it now. Anywho, I made that out of fingering weight cotton yarn from Drops. It was this Drops saffron yarn right here. And I donated it for a door prize for the retreat. And I was so super touched. What we did is we had participants each got 3 entry tickets, and they could choose where they wanted to put their ticket in to be chosen for that raffle prize. And I was worried that, you know, everybody's crafters, so nobody is going to really want a blanket that somebody else made. But I was so touched that a lot of people, there were a lot of tickets in my basket to win my blanket. So my friend Sean won it, and she was super delighted. So I did have a fair amount of that yarn left, because this was the yarn that I had purchased. I showed it when I got it. This is the yarn that I had purchased to do the Franken blanket crochet along, and I tried at least, I think I counted 17 times with both kinds of yarn, both the cotton and the acrylic, all different hooks, different tensions, different techniques, different ways of holding, and I could not get that darn. The beginning of that blanket is the Sophie's Universe blanket center, which is free. You can find it, you know, all over online. I couldn't get it to not be a wavy circle, no matter how hard I tried. So I just gave up. I gave up, and I made that blanket for the retreat using a Hooked on Sunshine pattern, which her patterns, I love Vanessa. She's like the best designer ever, in my opinion. And if you haven't checked out Hooked on Sunshine, do it. She makes great patterns. So another of her, I did have quite a bit left over of the colors that I had. And so I'm going to show you all of them now, all put together, because with what I had left over since the retreat, I have started, since it was so popular, I have started another blanket using my leftovers. Now I'm going to have to order more in order to finish this blanket, but this is the beginnings of next year's door prize donation from me. And this is the Ardith Big Girl pattern from Hooked on Sunshine. And this is probably, I've made this blanket, this will be the 3rd one. And this is probably my favorite of her patterns. Well, that or New Beginnings. New Beginnings is fun too. But I like this one because it doesn't have repeat rows. The one I just did has like a series of repeat rows. This one never repeats rounds, so it's more entertaining for me, I guess, because I get bored. God knows I get bored easily. So that I have been working on a little bit. So that, I'm sorry, I kind of jumped from new acquisitions to projects there for a second. Forgive me. Okay, back to the Fiber Festival. So they had at the Frogget Yarns, where I got that wool cotton yarn, they also had some mystery bags. Now I always get screwed when I get mystery bags. Always, always, always. But I thought, you know, I'm going to tempt the fates one last time and see what happens. And I did, and I think I finally got a winner. So I got a mystery bag, and it came with 2 hanks of yarn. And I was lucky enough that they were both the same yarn. So this is the 100% superwash merino worsted weight, 218 yards, and it's called Odd Frog. And it's like a denim. It's like a true denim. And I just love it. I got 2 hanks of it. The possibilities are, there's a lot of possibilities. So I'm very happy with that mystery. First time it paid off for me. Then they another dyer that was there that also comes to the middle of the mitten yarn crawl that's up here in my area, in northern Lower Peninsula, or middle northern peninsula, middle lower peninsula. I'm so sorry. Is called Reaction Yarns. Now, Reaction Yarns, I don't know where they get their bases from, but they might, or if they just buy in such a tremendous bulk that they're able to do this. But it's a nice base. There's nothing, there's nothing wrong with it. But for some reason, they're able to sell their hand-dyed hanks at a price significantly lower than other hand dyers. So I don't know what that's all about, but I'm okay with it. So this one was actually a super steal. The regular price of it is $18.99. It's called Green Revolution. It's 100% superweight merino, 231 yards. It's a DK/sport weight. Now the regular price of it is $18.99. But they had it 30% off. I mean, how could you not jump at that, right? And I mean, if those aren't Angie colors, I don't know what is. So if you want to check them out online, Reaction Yarns, I mean, if you maybe are new to hand dyed and not sure you want to, you just want to try something a little bit fancier than, big box store yarn, I would give them a try because, like I say, it is more affordably priced than some of the other hand dyers I have found. Now they do have some that are, the $25–$30 hank range, which is average for hand dyed, but they do have $18–$19 ones as well. Then I think you'll remember this from a couple of years ago. We ran into, and unfortunately I don't have the name of the company or the store or whatever, but it's this stand, and they have just boatloads of what they call crazy yarn. It is a sport weight, 230 yard, 100% wool. It is not superwash, but it's all of that. And it says right on here, crazy yarn, no two are alike. So I have 2, possibly 3 in my craft room from previous years, previous fiber festivals. And again, I want to do something crazy and put them all together and make something crazy. I don't know what yet, but someday when I see the pattern, I'll be like, yes, that's the yarn for it. So I have these 3 that I picked up at this most recent fiber festival, and either 2 or 3 from previous fiber festivals. And now that it does say on here, so, and they do have a website. So if you're interested in the crazy yarn, which why wouldn't you be? And it is also very reasonably priced, and it's very soft for being a non-superwash, but it is hand wash, obviously. It's stonehedgefibermill.com, and it's kind of faded. I don't know if you can see that. Stonehedgefibermill.com. But, check them out online if you're interested in something like that. Another thing that I have done, another subscription that I have done, is I did sign up for another Annie's Kit Club. When I saw this one, I couldn't resist. So I have received, I think, 3, possibly 4 months worth to date. And I started, but I didn't get very far. I didn't get very much done. So, but I want to show you the picture of what it is because I'm absolutely in love with it. It's called the Happy Days Afghan. Doesn't that just look so cool? I just love it. I think it just looks like so much fun. Now, it is going to be a lot of sewing together because some of those squares are very, very small, and there are going to be a ton of ends to weave in because you have to think of all of those color changes in those very small squares. So a lot of ends to weave in, a lot of sewing involved, but for ends that I don't know if I'd trust Jeff with with sewing things together, but weaving in ends, I got a guy for that. So that is that. And that, of course, the Annie's Kit Clubs always use the Premier Anti-Pilling Everyday Worsted yarn. Well, the ones that I have, this is my third Annie's Kit Club, and that's what they've been so far. And it's a very nice acrylic, 4-weight acrylic, very nice and soft. Probably my favorite acrylic. I mean, yeah, I'd say my favorite acrylic. Okay. I'm bouncing all over the place. I went from the Fiber Festival to the Annie's Kit Club. We're not done with the Fiber Festival yet. But let me get some of this stuff off my table so I can get to the rest of the stuff. Okay, so then from the Hand Dyer AGHC wools, I splurged a little. This yarn was a little bit pricey, but if you could only feel it, you would understand why I decided to splurge. And this is going to be a gift for myself. I don't do that very often. Most of my things that I make are gifted to other people. But this is a Yack Silk DK. So it says DK/light worsted. I would say it's definitely a DK. I don't see where that could be considered even a light worsted. It's pretty small. But it is 60% superwash merino, 20% yak, and 20% silk. And when I tell you, it feels absolutely like butter. It's just delightful. And this AGHC wools, I'll just show you the label so you can, if you want to check them out. I love the way they dye things. They dye very richly. Their yarn is always very saturated with dye, as you can tell. This color here is called Mars, as in the Roman god. And this color here is called Forseti, as in the Norse god. So this particular brand or line is named after different gods. But these two are going to go together. And I also purchased a pattern. They had a sample stitch of this particular pattern up on the stand, and I decided I loved this yarn, I loved the pattern, and I really wanted to make it, so I bought these two to be complementary with each other for this. It's a Tunisian crochet sampler cowl, and that's what it will look like. Let me put my hand there. There we go. And it was very, you know, the photo doesn't do it justice, but it's very, very pretty. Now, I don't particularly wear shawls, but I do love a good cowl. And the thing that I loved most about this cowl is I've had them before that where they're, you know, they're open-ended, more like a kerchief style. This one is actually connected. So you put it over your head like a shirt, you know what I mean? And so it's not gonna fall off or get crooked, you know, it's gonna stay put, which I really liked that about it. So this was not a free pattern, it was a paid pattern, but it's called Take Flight, and I'm sure you can find it online if you were interested, by Jen Chapman from JL Creations. And it's very gorgeous. It's very gorgeous. In fact, I really want to work on this, but I've got so much, I got so much stuff I want to work on. Then I think this is my last thing from the, yes, this is my last thing from the Fiber Festival. This was my score of the day. I really, really went all out. I kind of treated myself on this trip because I don't remember seeing this particular dyer before, and I believe, if I'm remembering correctly, they're relatively new to the scene. So this is called Elk and Me Fiber Art Studio. Elk, pronounced or spelled A-L-K, and Me Fiber Art Studio. I don't know if it says where they're from. No, there's no information on where they're located, but I believe it's somewhat local to Michigan. I mean, not far, you know, Midwest at least. So they had this line of yarn, which they discontinued this base. So these were on clearance, and I bought enough to make a sweater quantity. It is 100% baby alpaca, DK weight, 246 yards per hank. So this color is called RNA. Okay, so you can see it's got the burgundy, the gray, the mustard. It's got even some green in there. Just some lavender. Just beautiful mix of like earthy tones with vibrant tones. And I fell in love with it. So this was all they had of this. And it, like I said, they had eliminated this line, so they were clearancing it out, got it very, very inexpensively for 100% baby alpaca. So I need you guys' help. I need help in that. So I have 3 hanks of this color. Then I have 1 hank of this color, which is called benzene. Now you can tell it's very, very similar to this color, but it's just more saturated. It's not quite as muted. But but the same colors. It's just a darker tone. And then I got 1 skein or hank of this one, which is called Decomp. Beautiful, beautiful plum color, which, you know, matches the plum that's in that. 1 hank of Metathesis, which is this gorgeous green. Now, and if I thought, it's funny because I bought that Yack and Silk first, like right when we first walked in the door. And I thought that felt like butter. But then when I felt this 100% baby alpaca, I was like, oh my gosh, this is probably, I'm going to say that this is the softest yarn I've ever felt. I mean, this is a beautiful base. You know, you can get, it's funny because you can get yarns with the same fiber base composition as far as, you know, 100% cotton or 100% alpaca or whatnot. But 100% alpaca can feel quite differently depending on the spin and the tightness of the braid, and I mean probably even the processing of the wool. And this might be the nicest, softest yarn I've ever felt. Honestly, it's gorgeous. So check out Elk and Me, and all of their colors were gorgeous, 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 gorgeous dyeing job. So that one, and then this one is called Butyric. I hope I'm saying that correctly. That's how it's spelled, Butyric. And it's, you know, it's got all the tones of my colors in it, but lighter. And then the last one is called Cytology. And it's this gorgeous coppery butterscotch color. Yeah, but I guess more butterscotch than copper. So I've got, how many do I have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I've got 8 hanks times 250 yards per hank. So that's 5, 1. I've got 2,000 yards of DK weight. And what I want to make is I want to make the sweater to end all sweaters. I want the sweater of my life. The problem is going to be, I've got to mix, and these colors all complement each other very, very well, but I've got to have a pattern that is going to allow me to mix them up in a way that will fit, if you know what I mean. So if anyone knows of any pattern that you are looking at this and thinking, oh yeah, that would look cool in, you know, this sweater, please let me know. I don't care if it's a pullover, a cardigan, whatever, but I desperately want to make a sweater with this, and I'm going to hold out until I find that perfect pattern, because this is by far the most high-end sweater that I've ever had, you know, in my life. So I want something really, really, really special. All right, off my high horse with that. Done. All right, that was all my new yarn purchases. False, one more. But this one wasn't from the Fiber Festival. I've got one more new yarn purchase that is also a ongoing project. Unfortunately, it's buried here, so give me just a second. For the retreat, Maddie and I made koozies to go around all the participants' cups, drinking cups. And so I have all my cotton yarn in this bag with my project, and, you know, because I was in such a hurry, and you know how it goes. So here's the yarn that I'm using, and this is the second time I'm using this yarn. It is the KC, which stands for Knit and Crochet, KC Essential 100% Cotton. It is a 4-weight yarn. No, I'm sorry, it's a 3. It's a lightweight 3, but it's a thicker 3. I think you'll agree. So the two colors I have here are Canyon and Cream. And this is a Joann's brand, so I'm not certain what's going on with the viability of Joann's. But if you can get your hands on this, if you're looking for a good cotton for wearables that's rather affordable, this is, I would highly recommend this. I really, really do enjoy it. It's very, very soft. You know, it is 100% cotton. Lightweight 3, and there are 180 yards per skein, so, you know, not a bad yardage. And if you can get a sale or have a coupon, you know, it's a pretty nice yarn. Way too nice for kitchen stuff, for kitchen cotton. So what I am doing with that is, oh goodness, now I'm gonna have to try to remember the name of this project. I haven't worked on it in a while. I started this at the No Frills retreat in Texas in February, and it is made as a one piece. Let me make sure I'm showing you the correct side. So it's a cardigan, and this, where am I? It was worked from the bottom up. And so you work from the bottom up, and you even make the sleeves as you go along. So as you can see, I'm like right there. And then you make it up around your shoulders and down the back, all in one piece. And then you just have to sew the length of your arm together, which is interesting. That's an interesting construction. But this is a mosaic crochet pattern, and this is a free pattern. This is on someone's blog. I believe it's called, I don't want to steer you wrong, pumpkin spice cardigan. I don't know. I'm so, just, if you look up, if you just searched for mosaic crochet cardigan, it's very popular. It's a very popular pattern. So I'm sure it would come up, you know, pretty close to the top in the search bar. But I am making it of 100% cotton. I think this is going to be a perfect early fall sweater for me. Like football games on Friday nights before the weather turns here in Michigan. I think it'll be really nice. And it's, you know, this cotton is, it's not super weighty like some cotton can be, but it's not super light either. It's nice. It's very nice. So that's where I am with that project. Again, I haven't worked on it in quite a while because I was trying to get that blanket and all those koozies finished for the retreat. But that is, you know, one of my ongoing projects. Oh, I did forget. I have one more new acquisition, did I not? And it wasn't something I bought, but it was a gift rather. And did I not bring it over here? I swore I did. Did it fall on the floor? Oh goodness, I really wanted to show you too. I know I brought it over here. What could have happened? Anyway, it's the new Lion brand Mako cotton. I'm telling you, if you haven't tried that, you need to get yourself some because it is nice. Now, that being said, I'm gonna get up. I'm gonna get up and grab it because I really want to show you about it. I apologize. Hold on just one second. It's just sitting right over here by my chair. So this was Maddie's gift to me, and pardon me, I'm wearing my pajama pants. This was Maddie's gift to me for Mother's Day. She got me 5 skeins or 5 balls of this, and it's Lion brand Mako cotton. It is 94% Mako cotton, 6% nylon. It is a 4-weight yarn, and there are only 125 yards in this little sucker. Now, I don't know how much she paid for it. I have a feeling it's probably not going to be super cheap. But I just want to show you the fuzz on that for a cotton. I mean, it does not feel like cotton. The closest thing I can describe this to is I had a cotton similar to this that I bought from a local yarn store that was quite expensive. And I'm thinking what I'd like to do with this is a tank top. I'm thinking of doing a breezy tank for summer. So that's kind of what I'm thinking for that. You know, the fact that it has 6% nylon will be helpful in helping it, you know, retain its shape and whatnot and not get all stretched out. It does say to hand wash it, and I can imagine that because, I mean, the halo that's on it, you know, I kind of wonder if it's not maybe going to get a little pilly with wear. I don't know. I love it. It's beautiful. It's super soft, very lightweight, because it's not exactly a chain spun, but it's very interestingly plied. If you can, it kind of almost looks chain spun. It's like a braided ply almost. So interesting. So that was my Mother's Day gift from Maddie. I guess I do have one more purchase, but it's not anything you haven't seen before. I have decided, Maddie and I have both decided, boy, this video is going on way too long. I'm so sorry. I had a lot to say. Have both decided to jump on the bandwagon and do the Janie Crow crochet along, the Spirit of Flora that started the end of April. It's going to be released in 3 parts. It's the redo of a pattern that was published in Crochet World magazine, I think a couple of years ago. And now she's releasing them over the course of this summer in 3 parts. So for April, they released the first part of the pattern, which contains 4 squares for the Spirit of Flora. So the yarn that I chose to use is thicker than I'm not using the recommended. I think she used Stylecraft DK, which is a wool polyester blend. But I wanted to do a cotton blanket. I've been really into cotton lately. So I'm using Hobby Lobby's I Love This Cotton. Can't ever go wrong with I Love This Cotton, which is a 4-weight cotton. So my blanket's going to be bigger, but I don't really care. So I just did my best. I went on the site for the Janie Crow site for the Cal, and I did my best at the store with my phone to kind of match up the colors of what she had. So and then what I did is I just wrote on the label what I was substituting, you know, each color for. So these, I'm not going to pull out every skein and show you because, you know, why do that when I can just show you some finished squares and you can see everything that was in it. So these were the first 4 squares. And of course I haven't woven in my ends because, you know, I don't do that. So this is one of them. This was very fun to make. I really had a good time making this. You know, you start with these really, these 3 tree branch long chains and then work to make the leaves onto the stems. That was really fun. I enjoyed that. And then there was, this one is my favorite one. This one is called the Tudor Rose. And I'm not sure if it's the stitches that are my favorite or if it's the colors of this one that are my favorite. I think it's both. I think a combination of both. I really like this one. And then I'm sorry that I don't remember the names of each of these individually. Or I know all the names, but I don't know which goes with which. And then there's this one. This one was fun to make. This one's the fastest one to make. This one, you know, I can whip that one up fairly fast. And this one, I didn't think I was gonna like it until I got it finished. And now I do like it. Now I like it a lot. This one's called the Garden Trellis, I think it is. Now she does suggest to wait to block all of these until we're further along in the project. So I won't be blocking anything in advance. And, you know, she didn't give very clear instructions for joining as far as when you came to the center. And I can see now, looking at it through this, like, I don't like the way that that is looking. So I think I'll go in there with some yarn and kind of stitch that together a little bit more. But, so that's where I am with that. I've got several done. In fact, I have just got, I think, 3 more to do before the next pattern release, and that won't be out until like June 19th. So I'm trying to savor it. I got them all done really fast. Oh, let me show you this. So I'll tell you about all of the retreat stuff in a different video because we've already been here too long. But Marissa McCartney, who is the Crafty Heifer on YouTube, she doesn't really do YouTube anymore, but she's still very active in the crafting community. She is the host of both the Lone Star Retreat and the No Frills Retreat. She was sweet enough to come and, well, she did a lot actually to help Mindy and I with our retreat. And she came and stayed with me for a couple of days before the retreat and one day after the retreat. And she brought me a beautiful gift because that's how Southern ladies are. It's a Southern thing. And I have been oft coveting some Delaque project bags. So she got me 2 Delaque project bags, and I've got them both with a project. And it's working out really nice. I've never used these ones that have the snap closures so you can put 1 strand of yarn, you know, through each, and it's working out perfect. I love it. I love working like that. So thank you, Marissa, if you watch this. All right, moving right along. I just got a couple more crochet things, projects, and then then I'll just show you my cross stitches and then we'll be done. Doilies. I started this yesterday. What's today? I started this day before yesterday. And this is the first, gosh, I don't know how many rounds of, this is called either Arcane or Arcana. I can't remember which, but it's on the website. It's a free pattern on Draiguna, Draiguna crochet, and it allegedly, she's using the same weight thread, which is a 10, and also the same hook size. It's going to be 40 inches when it's finished. So it's going to be quite a large doily, and I'm excited about that. It's a very dense doily. I kind of usually tend to prefer doilies that are more delicate and have more open space. So this is a very densely stitched doily. Lot of stitches. There's a lot of stitches in that bugger. So I'm doing that. I also am still working on my, I didn't bring any over here because I've shown them to you multiple times. I have been making some progress on my bedspread, my crochet thread bedspread. So I'm making progress on that as well. And then about 2 o'clock this morning, I couldn't sleep, so I started this sweater for my niece, and I am done. I'm doing the first sleeve now, and I'm using the Mandala bonus bundle yarn in the color Sasquatch. And let me see if I can write this so I can show you exactly what it's gonna look like. And this was a pattern that I had purchased off Etsy some time ago. So here's how it's going to be. It's going to have a lace up front closure here, okay? And it's like, you know, a mandala in the back. Oops, what's going on there? Oh, okay. I thought there was a rip or something because why is that one little thing like that? What have I got going on there? Oh, huh. That just looked weird. It just wasn't laying correctly. Anywho, and I just let the colors fall where they may, and they actually ended up transitioning quite well. I'm making it for my niece. I thought that she would possibly like it for Pride Month. Also, she does a lot of stuff. Her work has a booth at the Renaissance Festival. So I thought that, you know, it'd just be a fun little gypsy kind of thing to wear to the Renaissance Festival. And it has this long, flowy little, you know, back. This is called the Sierra is the name of the sweater. And it's, like I said, it's an Etsy pattern. That I bought quite a while ago. So I'm just in the process now of starting my first sleeve. And out of the bonus bundle, I still have that much yarn left. So I'm thinking, now I am going to use 2 balls though, or 2 cakes, because I want both of my arms to look the same. So I do have another cake of the same color. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to run this sleeve out till the end of this cake, and then I'll grab one of my other cakes and find where this color starts and join there for the next sleeve so that my sleeves match. Because I just think that'll look better. But it kind of ombre'd out, you know, pretty nicely on its own. But I don't want to leave the sleeves, you know, being opposite. So yeah, I started that at 2 a.m. and here it is, you know, 1 p.m. So I got like 11 hours into it. Not bad for 11 hours work, right? All right, so that's the end of the yarn things. I'm gonna just briefly show you my cross stitch progress. Oh, one more thing. I'm starting a new project. Craft. Starting a new craft. Watch out, world, because I'm gonna quilt. I bought this at the No Frills retreat in February, and this is called Centerpiece, I guess, by Coach House Designs, and it's all your fabric except for the backing fabric for that gorgeous quilt. So I'm ready to get started. All I got to do is get that craft room ready. And now that the retreat is over, that's what I'm ready to focus on. So Monday, I gave myself a 2-week rest after the retreat. Monday we'll start on the craft room. All right. Oh, another gift from my beautiful friend Marissa. She got me this. This is also crochet related. It's called a Twister. Made in Sweden. TWISZTR. You put this on your arm and you put your ball of yarn on there. And when you're working, well, I mean, you'd want to put it on your, your off wrist. Just so for traveling, is this awesome? I can't wait. I haven't had occasion yet to use it, but I will. As summer approaches and I'm crocheting in the car or whatever, I will definitely be using that. So she ordered that and it came from the Netherlands. Fancy. Okay, stitching I had to pick up this cute little kit at my stitching store. I'm a little bit nervous to do it because I've never done beaded cross stitch. So I haven't started with that. I don't know why I'm showing you that. All right, so I do have 2 long dog samplers that I'm actually actively working on. This is the first, and it is called Act of God. No, I haven't started Act of God. This was Hoity Toity. So this is my progress so far on Hoity Toity. And I am using the recommended DMC thread colors, but I am using this blue hand-dyed Ada, and I think it's making the colors look different than they would if I was stitching on white or cream. I don't hate it, but I don't absolutely love it either. But I'm having a blast stitching it, and I'm this far in, and I'm not gonna stop. So just to give you an idea of how much there is left to go, however, so you see the length of this piece of Ada, almost all of it's going to be covered because I am at 18% completion of this pattern, and I've already got a lot of hours in. I use an app, it's called Markup RXP for iPads, that tracks your hours worked and your progress. Yeah, I've got a lot of hours in on that one. So the other long dog sampler that I'm working on is what is this one called? This one I have on a Legal High. And this one I have a less progress, and this one is on a paper pattern, so I can't tell you my percentage, but I've just a corner done. But I'm using all overdyed thread on this one, and this was done in one color when it, you know, as it's originally written, it is supposed to, or not supposed to, but it's done in one color. And I've decided to change it up, so I'm just kind of picking and choosing my colors as I go. Let me see if I could, yeah, here's what the whole thing is going to look like. So I'm just deciding as I go, oh, I want that to be that color, I want that to be that color, I want that to be that color. And, you know, I think I'm doing a decent job on this, at least, of choosing my colors, because I think it's turning out beautifully. But this is also a hand-dyed Ada. I think this was from, I don't know where I don't remember where my fabrics come from. I watch floss tubes all the time, and these ladies are so on the ball with where their fabric came from and all of that stuff. I can't keep track. I'm just not that good. All right, let me pop that back in there, because if I get these mixed up, I will be in a world of hurt. All right, I also have no, I'm sorry, I take that back. I have 2 full coverage pieces that I've been working on. One of them is the Heaven and Earth Designs. It is a quick stitch, which means it's a snapshot of a section of a larger pattern. So it is a Josephine wall, and the pattern that it comes from is, I can't even remember. The quick stitch that I'm doing is called Victrola and Butterflies, or Butterflies and Victrola. Let me just unclip my threads, and that is what I've got going on there. So this is 25 count fabric, and I'm using 1 strand of thread per 1 stitch, and I'm about 25% done with this. Now you're probably wondering, especially if you're not a cross stitcher, why I have all these threads hanging down here. I am doing, and the reason I chose a quick stitch to start with for my first full coverage piece, using this particular pattern has 89 colors. So the reason I chose a quick stitch is because I wanted to practice the practice of what's called parking, rather than cross-country stitching. So in cross-country stitching, if you have a stitch here of this color and one over here of this color and one over here of this color, you would drag your thread, you know, all around, or you would, you know, cut off and weave in the end and restart over there. With parking, and you have to do it in a methodic fashion for it to work appropriately, not appropriately, but for it to work efficiently. You have to be quite methodic about how you do the parking. With parking, what you do is you take a 10 wide by 20 long section, and you do all of the stitches in that section of that color. Then you go down to the section below that and you pull the thread through into the space where that color is going to be stitched next, and you leave it there. So you do that with each color. So all of these threads are from colors that have been stitched up here, if that makes any sense. And they're down here in their correct spots, waiting for me to get to that next section. So I had never parked before. I had always been a cross-country stitcher, which works out well and good when you're not doing a full coverage piece with 89 colors. But this, I'll never go back, because this is just, it's making more sense to me. It's easier to not make a mistake, and I'm really, really enjoying it. And I think that this is turning out just absolutely gorgeous. It's been a joy to work on. I think I have about 40 hours into this at this point, maybe more, 40 to 50, I can't recall. But I just braid them up to get them out of the way, and then I use these hair clips and clip it off to the side to work on, you know, my next section. And it's worked. I mean, it's just a makeshift little workaround, but it's working fantastic, so I'm loving it. And then my last full coverage that I don't really have much, I don't even know why I'm even gonna bother showing you, because I don't have much done, is a, not artsy, creative creations. It's a Canadian company that I got this chart from. And so I've got, you know, that much done so far. Now, you can't really tell what it even is yet, because this is a very, very, very large piece. It's going to cover the entire, it's a full coverage piece that's going to cover the entirety of this, well, other than the margins of this even weave. It's, the finish is going to be 12 inches by 12 inches. So that, when you're, you know, and it is 25 count, so 25 stitches per inch. So that's a lot of stitches. And I can't even show you a picture of what it would be, because it's on my iPad, which, you know, I'm recording with right now. So, but what it is it's the Cheshire Cat in the woods. So this is just the very top, it's the background, like the background of the woods, and that's why it's so dark. And that's where I'm getting to be in a lantern that's hanging from one of the trees. And this one has, gosh, 200 colors, I think. This one has a lot of colors. Yeah, I think 200 colors. So I've been using these for my thread organizers for my cross stitch projects, and I have to say I absolutely love them. They're called Paco thread organizers, and they do sell a generic version on Amazon, and I do have a couple of the generic ones, and they work just fine and dandy for me. I've heard some other stitchers say, oh, don't cheap out, you know, make sure you get the Paco. I have not had a problem, and I've used them for multiple projects. So, you know, they're only a few dollars more to get the Paco brand, but I'd save the few dollars and get the off brand. And these, it has a removable, and they send you a whole bunch of extra to put in here, inserts, so you can write your DMC color on there. The cool thing, the thing I love about these is that allows you to, you can take your needle, pick one strand and pull out one strand. And you don't have to bobbinate. I hate bobbins. Hate bobbins with a passion. You don't have to bobbinate. And you don't have to cut, you know, you have your section and you just pull one strand out and you're good to go. The drawback of these is they're not very portable. You know what I mean? Like if you're a traveling stitcher, they're, you know, like my friend Susie, I was trying to, you know, tell her about these, and they wouldn't work for her because she stitches on the go quite a bit. I don't go anywhere, so I don't have to worry about that. But that's that. So that's that. So that's my stitching in a nutshell. And with that, I will leave you. Thanks for putting up with my big mouth so long. I had a lot to say because it's been so long, but I appreciate you being patient for me and waiting for me and hanging out with me. So hopefully I'll be able to go live very, very soon. Who knows? Maybe if Jeff will help me, maybe even this weekend. So we'll see. I'm not gonna make any promises, but we'll see. All right, guys, thank you so much. And if I don't see you tomorrow, have a great weekend, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye, everyone.